With the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC now out, it's time for a new Pokemon Draft League. A Pokemon Draft League is where individuals, called coaches, take turns drafting teams of unique Pokemon and battling each other weekly until one coach is crowned the champion. The last Pokemon Draft League I joined was the PPL, and I managed to win it all. But this time, I'm making my own. SPL is the name of my Pokemon Draft League, or the Shuckle Premier League, because I'm co-running it with my boy, the Shuckle King. I got very lucky with my draft placement, as it ended up being first pick overall. And if you're first pick in a Pokemon Draft League, there's typically two Pokemon you're choosing from: Iron Valiant and Dragapult. I decided to get Dragapult because it's one of the most diverse Pokemon in Pokemon Draft Leagues. And more importantly, it gives me speed for my team, so I don't have to worry about figuring out speed tiers later. Because Dragapult can outspeed the majority of Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet with very little speed EVs, I can make it physical, special, or even bulky. It's one of the best Pokemon in Draft Leagues for a reason. My next pick was a Pokemon that I've wanted to use in Draft Leagues ever since I saw MV use it last season of the PPL and accidentally sweep everybody. The Water Starter Quacklevolt, with Aqua Step to boost my speed, Moxie to give me an attack raise every single time I pick off the opponent's Pokemon. It also has a strong close combat, Ice Spinner to hit Dragon types, U-turn for momentum, it has Roost for longevity, Rapid Spin to get rid of entry hazards, and the DLC even buffed it and gave it knockoff. But my third pick is probably the Pokemon I am most excited to use. You see, my boy Danny Mac hit me up and said, I want to see you make videos with Shell Smash Torterra, so I'll pick it up for you. You get Ogerpon for me and we'll trade this round. So my third pick overall is my favorite Generation 4 starter, Torterra. Torterra was very blessed this generation with not only Shell Smash, but Headlong Rush and even Rock Blast to take advantage. It also now has access to Iron Defense and Body Press, can set up Stealth Rock for my team, and even use Curse. But of course, I'll be trying my best to get at least one Shell Smash sweep this season. My round 4 pick ended up being Clefable, which gives me one of the most versatile Pokemon of all time, a solid stealth rocker, a switch into fighting and dark types. Clefable even has baton pass so I can use it for momentum, though I cannot pass stats in this draft league. It's one of the most annoying Pokemon of all time to take down, especially because I can spread status with Thunder Wave. And while it no longer has Soft Boiled, and even if it did, it would only be 8 PP, it still has Moonlight and Wish for recovery. And Clefable pairs very well with my next pick, which I think was a complete round 5 steal, Heatran. This is my second time in a row using Heatran in a draft league, and it was easily one of the reasons why I won the PPL, if not the reason. It's one of the greatest defensive and offensive Pokemon of all time, with 9 resistances and 1 immunity. And while Flash Fire is great as an ability to be immune to fire moves, Flame Body is the reason why Heatran is so good, because if you go for U-turn or a physical move versus me, there's a 30% chance you get burnt. It can set up Stealth Rock for my team or trap the opponent with Magma Storm, can use Taunt to stall break, and just covers a lot of the weaknesses that my team currently had. Clefable Heatran is a tried and true core that's been good ever since DPPOU. Speaking of Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, my next pick was Azelf, which gives me a ground immunity due to Levitate, and an all-around fantastic offensive Pokemon with a great speed tier. It is one of the best Stealth Rock leads of all time with Taunt and Explosion, has mystical power to boost its special attack 100% of the time while attacking, and has phenomenal coverage between moves like Flamethrower, Ice Punch, Energy Ball, and the like. And it forces Pokemon like Meowscarada to run Jolly Nature over Adamant in order to outspeed my team. That's why having good speed tiers is very important in draft, because you don't want your opponent to be able to go stronger for free. My next pick was Overqwil, which is something I've been pretty excited to use in draft as well. I think picking up a poison type that's touching the ground, aka a grounded poison type, is very important in draft, that way your opponent cannot sweep you with Toxic Spikes. Of course, Overqwil can set up Toxic Spikes and Spikes for me, has Intimidate to weaken physical moves from the opponent, its signature move Barb Barrage doubles in power if the opponent is poisoned, and even learns Swords Dance to boost its attack and become a sweeper. It's a psychic immunity for my team, but more importantly, a Ghost Resist, which I didn't currently have. My team needed another speed tier between Overqwil and Azelf, and I wanted something that could just outspeed base 100s on its own. I also wanted a breaker, something with initial power that hits so hard that defensive teams can't take hits from. So my round 8 pick was Thunderous Therian. I felt like Thunderous Therian was important to my team because Tera isn't really my team's ground type, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But basically Thunderous Therian can absorb the electric type attacks aimed at my team, while simultaneously hitting back with a base 145 special attack stat. Considering almost every draft has a bulky water, like Envy has Manaphy and Drewby has Slowbro, being able to threaten them with a KO is very important. As I mentioned before, it's faster than base 100 Pokemon, has a fantastic move pool consisting of Focus Blast and Grass Knot, and even Sludge Bomb for fairy types, and provides my team even more momentum between U-Turn and Volt Switch. And unlike Landorus Therian, they decided it can learn Knockoff again. At this point of the draft, I don't have a lot of points left to spend on Pokemon, but there was one 3-point Pokemon that I had my eye on since the beginning of the draft, and that's Appleton. Appleton is very important for my team because currently a Pokemon like Iron Bundle just clicks Hydro Pump and Freeze Dry and can 2-hit KO every single Pokemon I have. But with Thick Fat Appleton, I don't have to worry about that. It also pairs very nicely with Overqwil. Considering Overqwil's only weakness is ground, Appleton can take the hits and shuffle around the opponent via Dragon Tail because of the spikes that Overqwil set up, getting massive damage on every Pokemon due to entry hazards. While I think Torterra will overshadow it this season, I am very excited to use Appleton. Grafai was my next pick, giving me another fast Pokemon, another knockoff Pokemon, and more importantly, a prankster encore Pokemon to stop setup from the opponent. It adds a ghost immunity to my team and has enough good physical moves to threaten my opponent as an unburdened sweeper between Swords Dance, Low Kick, Knockoff, and Acrobatics. Poison Touch, being able to poison my opponent 30% of the time with moves like U-Turn, also can go a long way, allowing my other bulky Pokemon like Heatran to wall Pokemon more effectively. At this point in the draft, I only have one pick left and I only have 1 point. Originally, I picked Pikachu. I thought it'd be pretty cool with Light Ball, clicking Volt Tackle, Grass Knot, and Surf, but then I noticed during the grace period that there was a Pokemon at one point that happens to be one of the 3 Pokemon that learns Heal Bell, and that's Chimecho. Chimecho provides a cleric for my team via Heal Bell, another Levitate Pokemon, and it actually has a pretty good move pool between Calm Mind, Recover, Taunt, Draining Kiss, and Shadow Ball. But the real reason I picked Chimecho is because this draft league is a lower tier Tera Captain draft league, and you have 15 points total to use on your Tera Captains to allow them to Terrasilize. Pokemon that are at 9 points and down can Terrasilize with some exceptions. The Pokemon you Terrasilize can have 3 different Teras, but one of them has to be Stab. So my 1-point Chimecho can Terrasilize into a Psychic, Fairy, and Electric type, making it an Electric type with Levitate. Appleton, my 3-pointer, is also a Tera Captain, which can Terrasilize into a Grass, Fairy, or Steel type. And my final Tera Captain, which was legal in this draft league, is Torterra, which can Terrasilize into a Ground, Water, or Electric type. I may end up changing the Tera types as the season goes on, but those will be my Tera types for week 1. The week 1 battles will be uploaded October 8th on Sunday on everybody's channel. I'll leave them linked down below, and please consider subscribing to all of them if you enjoy Draft League content. I'll also be leaving the doc down together that we use for the tiering, so you can use it for your own league or make changes. As usual with Draft Leagues on this channel, we'll be doing watch togethers every week so we can watch everybody's games. So I hope you all are excited about SPL and my next Pokemon Draft League adventure, and stay tuned for the first game.